brother, her brother was living in Atlanta, but she lived with her husband. Mind you, these kids, well, they're not kids, they're in their 30s, mid 30s. They were begging their damn mother for money every damn week. This girl would come to her mother's house. I need $100. The son would call on the phone every week. I need $100. I need $200. Begging their mother and father for money. And to preface what she said, I started smoking weed in my 20s. And this girl was always asking for $1, always asking for weed. For about, I don't know, a good 14 years. Every time I went down to the house. Because she never moved out until she got married. She never had her own place. So this girl was always begging for money, and let me show you something. I was there when her baby daughter was born. I predicted that her daughter would be light-skinned like her, even though her husband is dark-skinned. And look at the baby. Now, on my own dime, I took this worthless piece of shit to the Blue Note to see, oh gosh, what's his name? I can't even remember his name. But I took her to the Blue Note to hang out with me and experience some jazz in a live setting in the club. Here's some pictures of my mother, and that's me on the organ. This is a picture of her mother, and I was celebrating her birthday one year. Notice the different shirts. And this is another year, celebrating her birthday. This is me, my mother on the far left, and her mother in the middle, hanging out. My mother was a pastor of a church, and I gave people rides home. This is me supporting the girl's mother preaching at my grandfather's church and playing the organ and doing what I had to do to support. This is my mother on her birthday. I took my mother out to a restaurant. This is me and my mother again, hanging out on some big ass chairs in a botanical garden. Like, I bought my mother mink coats, Gucci bags and shoes, and for me, it cost a lot because I didn't have a good paying job. So I had to save my money in order to purchase these things to show my appreciation for my mother. I brought friends and people that I met in different choirs and different settings to help assist at my mother's church, like these singers. We all came out of the same group in Brooklyn, James Hall Worship and Praise. I made the program for my mother for her burial. I played the organ, I sang. That's me and my mother and the members of her seminary, her graduating class of her seminary. I celebrated my mother with little things and big things. Got my mother a rug and some gifts for that birthday. Like, I've been taking care of my mother and trying to do right by her for as long as possible. Visiting my mother in the hospital. Mind you, this was at the girl's old apartment where she braided my hair. And even working. I've been working since I was a teenager. Volunteering and then working. But even at my mother's church, I was the cook, I sang, I played the organ, I was the musical director, I was the janitor, the custodian, for many years before some help came along. I was the public relations department, reaching out to different congregations and pastors to try to get them to come and speak at my church for engagements. Um, I created all the flyers. Um, I created a website using Photoshop. I amassed a bunch of skills that I had no need for, well, that I have no need for, but at the time there was no money to hire anybody. Really disheartening, um, for that girl to even say that. I even sent her mother and my mother on a trip out of the country. To Cancun and Cozumel. And I booked everything. I paid for the flights. The reason why this girl's mother had a passport is because I sent her out the country. I paid for the rooms. I paid for exploratory packages so they could go out and snorkel and ride through the jungle and all this other stuff. They did some of the things, not all of them. And the last time I saw her mother was in June of 2020, and I went by her house for her birthday because her kids don't appreciate her. And I got her king crab leg dinner with some sides and a cake, and you know what I'm saying? Like, even living at her mother's house, this girl's mother's house, my cousin, it's really sad because I watched her daughter many times when her mother had stuff to do. But it's something that family will turn and lie on you. And her brother was in the military, or is in the military, I'm not too sure because of all the lies, was in the army. And recently I've been harassed for the last year and some change by her brother's loser friends. There's a video of him talking about he would support black women and Hispanic women, talking about he got it and all this other stuff. This nigga, when my mother died and I was cleaning in the house, I found out that my mother was sending this nigga money every month. $1,000, $1,200, $1,500 every other month. Over the course, I found the Western Union grams over the course, the Western Union receipts, over the course of 2 years. And there's a recording where this boy is talking about, oh yeah, you don't need to worry about your mother's stuff, haha, that's my mother's stuff, ha 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 ha. You don't need to worry about it, just fall back, or what did he say, stay out the way, and all this other stuff. Some kind of low-key threats. And I went to visit the boy at his house, at the house he was renting, or I don't know the boy's financial business, in Georgia. And we went around to a couple stores. I bought a hat for myself. I got a big head. He asked me for $100. Went to the liquor store, bought a big bottle, drank the whole damn bottle riding in the car. Went back to the house with his girlfriend. He was dozing off in a drunken stupor. And I was sitting on the couch. This nigga pulled a gun on me talking about, D, I'll light you up. I'll light you up. The girlfriend rushes over and tells him to stop it. We go outside, and I'm showing her some things on my phone where some of these Christian influencers were typing some weird stuff. I tell her to go on Instagram on her phone, and the posts that are on my phone aren't on her phone. She looks at me and she says, "Oh, they can do that?" So, I don't know, I've been played for a fool for a long time with these people. My mother died. Her sister comes to the house and she's like, "Well, where's the money? Where's the money?" I'm like, "What money?" Like, we stayed in a shitty apartment. Like, my mother didn't have like a whole bunch of nice stuff. And the nice clothes and stuff, and the designer clothes and shoes that my mother had, I purchased.